Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the American Masterminds podcast. I'm your host tonight, Topher Sheeler. I'm joined by my co-host, the one and only Jared Bayless.
What's up?
We've got another Blue Collar Connect spotlight for you here today. We've got junk movers. We got Drew and Kiki here with us tonight. This is a wildly fascinating episode. You're not going to want to miss it, but there is so much more to this business than you might actually think. Jared, what do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Very interested to learn about how Drew and Kiki run their business and can't wait to hear more.
Let's grab a quick word from the sponsor and we'll jump right in.
Welcome to the American Masterminds podcast.
Today's episode is brought to you by Blue Logic.
What if the water your kids drink every day wasn't as clean as you think? Invisible contaminants, lead, arsenic, PFAS can slip through ordinary filters. With Blue Logic's whole home purification, you remove up to 99.8% of what shouldn't be there. Give your family water that's as pure as your love for them. Call now or visit BlueLogicWater.com to schedule your free in-home water test. Because what touches your family every day should never be left to chance. Blue Logic Water, pure protection for the ones you love most.
Why is it interesting getting to know each other?
Why?
Because we met in April, he proposed me in May, we got married in September. So it was basically Uzbekistan way of getting arranged marriage. So we kind of did get to know each other in those years.
Yeah, those months. Well, yeah, the first 3 years were really like, but I don't think we had like, you always have disagreements with your spouse. I don't think we had our first like kind of disagreement until year 3 to 5.
Probably year 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And it's only because I learned to be American.
Yeah. Seriously. She was like, no, I'm not going to do this, whatever it was. And I was like, wait, what?
Wait, something happened wrong. What happened there?
I mean, in Uzbekistan, you kind of have to be like what your husband says. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But I think through marriage, that's a good saying. You guys heard that one where it says, the man is the neck. Oh, the
man's the head.
The woman is the neck.
Yeah, right.
That is so true, even in Uzbekistan. Over the years, it slowly becomes that way too. I'm not sure how it works out in your house, but
it's the divine union because you need the masculine and the feminine together.
Totally.
The American women get really mad if there's an order of like this.
What does mean?
That
Both equal.
We are
You're just
equal,
running the
opposite,
same.
but it's the divine union.
I like that one. Yeah. I am really lucky. He's my husband and he's American. I'm really lucky. I hope you feel the same way.
Oh, 100%. Like she's my best friend, running a business together, her and I, it's had its ups and downs and challenges. You're around each other all the time. And I find myself now like in this place, in this world where I will just call her when I'm just out on the road.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just want to talk to her.
Yep.
I just think about her. And like, I have talked to you all day, all throughout the evening even. And we've dealt with parenting and doing all these other things. And there are just times where I just call her and just because I miss her.
Yeah. I just want to talk to you.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And I think when we first started, it was kind of funny because she didn't really start helping me in the biz the first 2 or 3 years, I would say. How long before you started doing real admin stuff for us?
I don't know. I don't even know.
I think it was year 3 or 4. And I just couldn't handle the phones anymore. There was a lot going on. And so she started scheduling. And I remember she had scheduled, and there's just a series of questions you got to ask before you're sending us to a house. We need to know, like, do we need to come with our trucks empty? How much stuff are we picking up? Can we pair it with another job? And the first little bit was really rough because I was already used to this. I just kind of handed the phones to her. Mm-hmm. And so she was like having us go out to Ogden. And then our next pickup was like in Provo. and then I remember there was something that she did. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't right. We got there and it was a total different thing. And I like got kind of frustrated with her, and I actually somewhat, I not disciplined, but let her know that that's not how you do this.
Right.
And she was really hurt by how I spoke to her. And I remember later on that night, I just had to say, look, I'm not talking to you that way as your husband. I am talking to you that way as someone who's run this business for 4 years, and it has to be done a certain way. And I'm not yelling at you. I'm not disciplining you, but if we don't fix this, it's not going to work. And I remember her coming to me the next day and saying, I was really upset at you, how you spoke with me at first. And then she goes, but I understand. I get it. And ever since then, it's been a partnership in the business. We've always been partnership. We've had our ups and downs just like anybody else, but man, I couldn't be happier to be next to you all the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Same over here.
Yeah.
But it is really hard to kind of distribute the roles and say, I'm your wife today. 2 hours later, I'm not your wife anymore.
Yes, it's time to handle business.
Or, you're not my husband. And sometimes I feel like most of the time I feel overstep. Like I step on his toes, but I think he does a better job.
No, I think it's definitely a true partnership too, because there have been times where, when I've really needed to step my game up and be the one that's out there, because it's scary sometimes. I don't know about you guys, but stepping out there, when I decided to become self-employed, she was 5 months pregnant with our first child.
Oh, geez.
And everything almost went away as far as the business that I was in. We had our own health insurance. We had, it was a wonderful business. I never worried about money or any of those things. And here was this big change where they closed the doors, and here we are. And so it was really frightening. And so there's always these areas that you step out into the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really unknown for me. And I just am really happy that I've been able to step out into the unknown with her, because she circled around and said, look, I know maybe I'm feeling timid about doing this job or whatever it is. And there was one time she was seriously like, what else are you doing? You want to come home and you want to lay down because you've had a hard day? Well, guess what? We have a job here that needs to get done. And I would quote it exactly how she put it towards me. But
I didn't say the whole thing though. I did spell it out.
Yeah, she said, stop being a PUSSY.
That's exactly how I said it.
And you know what? That was one time in our world where I was really like, that one like hit my soul. I was like, I've been slinging junk all day. I'm super tired. And anyway, that was good for me. So the balance of having areas where you need each other. This is the only way that I see husband-wife partnerships working in a business. Because if you don't have that balance, and if your strengths and weaknesses, just like in any marriage with the business, I feel like if I didn't have her, there have been many times where I love throwing caution to the wind, but it's also a little bit different when you have kids. There are times where I'm like, oh man, or I don't want my equipment to get hurt, or I don't want the guys to get hurt. We have to really think this through. And at the end of the day, I think sometimes you just have to take the step and just do it.
Yeah.
So she's pushed me anyway.
It's cool to have a partner to hold a mirror to you,
Yeah.
That's how me and my wife operate, is like, sometimes the hard truths need to be said, and she'll say, here you go. And I'm like, as much as I don't want to admit it, you're right. And I need to stop being a PUSSY and get going.
That's when you take the long trip down to the basement. I'll be back in a little bit. It's going to be okay. You're right. Give me a moment.
Yeah.
That's big of you guys, though, if you do it. Not everybody can admit it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? You are correct there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to take it. Not everybody would like to admit it. So good job.
Well, yeah, as a business owner, if you can't take the criticism, you might as well hang it up.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that because we're just barely getting into the demo world. I mean, we've done a lot of demo through the years, but not the way that we're doing it now. And working with kitchen and bath remodel companies or Karenita, the Mirandas of the world, perfection is what they expect. And how do you demo perfection?
Right.
You know, that's like a hard thing. Like you just go in and you rip it out, you know, but they've had to teach me how to pull nails off of the subfloor because the Tabaris of the world are coming in after us. And to perfect something so rough is really hard. And I've learned patience with her. I've learned perseverance. I think that's been a big one. You know, hey, we didn't get it exactly right, but this is how we need to do it. We learn something from every single job. Are we doing this right now, by the way?
Have we started?
Have we started?
Yeah, guys, keep going.
Okay.
There's a method to our madness. I promise there's a method to the madness
We
here.
just want to hear your story, Drew. Keep going.
Keep going.
Oh, well, you know, I've been thinking all week, like, what's my story? What's my story? And I have so many of them. Being 49 years old now, man, we've been married for 17 years too. And I was just thinking,
congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When I really start to break that down in my mind, as far as the fact that how much of that's like, 30% of my life. And you can't really count the first 5 to 7 years. I mean, you're just like running around riding your BMX maybe towards the end, but, you know, a big chunk of my life has been with her. In fact, she's the most influential woman that I've had outside of my mother, because she's been with me the most amount of time. And I don't know quite where I'm going with that, other than like, it's just good having you as a partner in my story. And I'm not trying to be all lovey-dovey and stuff, but I didn't think I would do that. I was like, don't cry.
It is cool to see the love and the it's a real partnership. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
But I'd love to hear if we could step a little bit back and start. How did you guys meet?
Yeah. So, we met, I came back, I lived in Las Vegas, and it was right during the crash. I was running a mortgage branch in Vegas during that time. And obviously there were so many things that were going on, and my dad got sick, and they still lived here. And so I came up, my friend asked me, you know, can you come up to Utah? I'm starting this business and I know it'd be perfect for you. My background was purely, I was in the car business for 13 years prior to that, and then mortgages. So sales and management were always a big part of my life. And he says, I'm starting this online company and I think it'd be perfect for you to jump in and really just kind of spread your wings and let you go. And I mean, I don't think I really knew how to email when he asked me to be his marketing director, you know, and I learned really quick. We worked with a lot of affiliate networks, and we were running our own products online. And come to find out, just really, Utah is a very tech savvy state. So to circle back, that is the road that it took me to get back to Utah. Was a friend of mine starting a business, my dad getting sick and wanting to be a little closer to my mom. And then I just was hanging out with so many guys all the time. I don't know. I just decided I really wanted to have a female presence in my life. And so I put an ad on Craigslist, and I did get a tremendous response from it, probably because of my marketing skills.
We figured out email at this point.
Yeah. I didn't Photoshop any of my pictures, but so she knew who was going to show up. But yeah,
what did you say on it though?
Okay. This is a probably a little bit of a sore subject, because in there, so things were going great, you know, life was good. And I was making a tremendous amount of money. And so I was like, hey, I just want to hang out with somebody, go to the movies with, get nails done with, what a manicure and a pedicure. Is that?
That's how he lured you, huh?
Yeah,
that manicure and a pedicure.
And apparently he got lots of responses, right?
I did.
And then
That's
I wrote
actually
to
marketing
him.
brilliance right there, if I
Right?
might be so bold. Smart
and
move.
then the photo of him. So I saw the photo. I wrote to him, like, hi, my name is Kamola, and I'm a student here. And also I'm all alone in this world. I just wanted to get what was in my heart out to the universe, to somebody. And I was not expecting any answers. Seriously, who would answer a depressing message like this? I thought to myself. And then I just got a response from him all of a sudden. And he said, hey, I know the feeling. And then we started talking every single day, 2-3 times via email.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hey, can I just hear your voice? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't want to give him my phone number. He's going to hear my accent. He's going to just, and I started liking him through the email. And he called me and he says, the first thing he says, I love your accent. And I'm like, whew, okay.
Oh, Drew's got some game.
Yep. He was in San Francisco and he said, let's meet next. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I said, okay. And then I just got my paperwork to extend my stay here and to go to college. And my host family gave me a certificate to bomb some kind of a cool restaurant in downtown. Starts with B.
Bombay House?
No, Bombados, something like this. But anyway, so, and then I went there and I was supposed to meet him.
For our first date.
First date. I call him from the bathroom because my friend already scheduled the place. We already had the certificate. So I go to him and say, hey, I'm sorry. I don't think I can make it. And the bathroom waters are running, flashing. He's hearing all of this. And then, okay, I said, I'm sorry, next time. And then I was like, if he's not going to call me, I'm not going to call him back. That's my Uzbek playing right there. And he said, he went to work next day. His assistant said, hey, read your horoscope. And he doesn't supposedly reads his horoscope. And the horoscope said, call that girl.
It was,
what are the chances?
No way.
It was insano. It was like, first of all, you stood me up on our first date, like, and I was the kind of guy, I guess, at that time where I was like, no, this is, look, out of all these people that were emailing me, and we started communicating, and then now you're like not meeting me. No, I'm not going to do that. And I really had this heart, she had her way and I had my way. And then seriously, my assistant just made me read that. And after that, I called again and we ended up going out the
same day. You asked me to go to a comedy club, comedy show, and then we went to a movie. And he supposedly put his arm out.
I was just stretching.
He wanted to rest.
It was just stretching.
You have way too much riz in this story, man.
Yep. And I put my head down there.
Right on my shoulder.
Yep, right on his shoulder. And then we start seeing each other every single day after that.
That was it.
A week after his dad passed away, and I went to his house. He said to me, what did you say? If you're not going to meet my family right now, you're never going to meet them because they were all over. I went there and we sat there. I'm sitting. His aunt is reading her life story on the laptop. And all of a sudden, he decided to leave the room. Oh, I got freaked out. I ran after him. Thankfully, he came really fast. For the first time I'm seeing somebody. I barely speak any English, and I'm sitting there. It was very uncomfortable for me not to have him in the room. He was my savior.
Yes.
So after that, we definitely knew. I knew that I just wanted to be with him.
Yeah, I'll tell you, because we went to Broovies for our first date, so they had like a couch type thing. And that's when I put my arm around her. And the second that she put her head on my chest, I was like, that's it. And my dad passed. She never got to meet him, unfortunately. But when I say that my whole family was there, there's two significant reasons to that. One is my family lived all over. My mother was here in Salt Lake, but I had a sister in New York, a brother in Colorado, and a sister in Florida. And our family was a little bit divided. I grew up Jehovah's Witness, and I was disfellowshipped from the religion, and it's very much that you're ousted from the religion when that happens. So the opportunity to meet my family in a setting where we were all communicating together and talking to each other, which is very unusual, but it took, unfortunately, my father's passing for that to happen. So, here I was with all of my family, and she was there. So it was kind of a unique thing. We ended up going to New York not long after that and visiting with my sister. But yeah, you got to meet him the hard way. And I honestly was like, if you stick around,
you make it through this,
then we're good.
Yep, it was. He never paid for any manicures or
Here it
pedicures.
comes. Here it comes.
Doggone it.
I have receipts, by the way.
He just started paying
still
this
have.
last year. Just last year.
Yeah.
At least he kept his word.
Well, starting a business the way that we did, I got laid off. The business collapsed. We had to really navigate some tricky waters with insurance and the first baby. And then, holy smokes, having kids are not inexpensive either. I think that was my first reality check to a $500 stroller back in 2009 or 2000. Yeah. Oh, was it that one? Only that one.
And the car seat and the diaper bag and.
Yeah.
On and on and on.
That's when I learned about Cobra. We had Cobra insurance.
Cobra.
I mean,
and it was.
Do you guys know what Cobra is? Oh, you are so lucky.
It's like when you're in between, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So we were able to, because we were leaving that insurance plan, you can sign up with Cobra. It was still very expensive.
$500 a month.
Yeah.
Back then.
So, but you know what? In the end, it's funny because we're talking about this now. And at the time it was such a big deal. Now I'm just like, man, we made it through there. And I think of that on so many levels with the business in general, not just in life together, but, I've had guys wreck trucks and cause significant damage. I've had people run into our trucks. And at this point, I think I'm at that stage where there's not much you could throw at me that's
part of running the business.
It's part of running the business now. Thankfully, we haven't had any big injuries or anything like that. I think that's really important. I have a huge emphasis on safety. I mean, if it's just out of the wheelhouse, I'm like, no. Yeah. But it's rare. It's rare that I ever encounter that with the team that we've got, that they're like, we can't do this. Cause I've just always had this can-do attitude. And I think part of that has happened because I had no choice. We either do this job or we don't eat,
Right. Yep.
And that's just not going to happen. Whether it was a 500-pound piano that needed to get taken away, we cut it up. There's a huge steel plate in the center. You hate breaking anything like that, but I'm just saying, no matter what, we just found a way to get it and do it. And the interesting thing about, I don't know if other business owners kind of experience this, but I did, especially through the first years. I just felt like when we needed a job, it meant everything for us to have that job. The phone would ring and it would happen. Every month, there was always, cause you're growing. There were days that I was just sitting around I didn't know, because everything on my background was internet driven, right?
Yeah.
We drove all of our leads through the internet. I never even knew anything about doing things the way that we do it now, as far as networking, talking to contractors, going out and finding your own business, your own leads and jobs. That was foreign to me until 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I'd just be sitting there waiting for the phone to ring, because we were spending money, phone ring, Yeah. But something always came through. It was pretty amazing.
It's pretty cool how the universe is always conspiring in your favor. If you just allow it to work.
Yes. I actually, for a long time, I was like, man, why is it not conspiring in my favor? Like, what did I do? What have I done wrong to cause this? Because we've had a lot of hard years, but then I realized that it's really me. It's nobody else. And whether this business were to succeed or fail, like it's on my shoulders. And that was a hard thing to learn as well. Just like, look, it's not anybody else around me. Either my mind's not right, or I'm not exuding that positive energy out into the world. And I think that that's a big thing in everything that we do, whether it's with our business or our personal lives. You know, it's easy. It is easy to be negative, and in fact, I think it's way easier to be negative than it is positive.
Yeah,
especially when you're in that rabbit hole, then it's even harder to get back up out of there. And I think
the darkness, the darkness is always wanting you to be the victim, and it's your job to figure out a way to pick yourself up and
keep going,
be the light, not be the victim.
Oh, dude, just even when you say pick yourself up, I think I've said to myself probably 10 times, like, just strap your boots back on and let's go. This happened. It sucks. It's horrible. But at the same time, like, what other choices do you have?
Right.
You know, economy is going to be economy. I used to think that our business was pretty recession proof. It's not. No business is, I don't think. But do people always have a need for our service? Sure. Just got to find them. And I think letting the world know just even a little bit about junk, you know, it's such a unique field. I didn't wake up when I was 8 years old and go, oh man, I want to be a junk guy. You know, like this sounds so awesome. And
Can't wait to get a truck.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking policeman or astronaut personally, but
almost made it.
Almost. It was so close.
But once you do the job and you see the satisfaction, just how people get emotional and thankful for what you do. It could be because of their back. It could be because of their family background. It could be because of what happened. And all they want to do is thank you because they wouldn't be able to finish it. Not because they don't have the hand power, and sometimes because it's too much for them to handle.
Mm-hmm.
You see this and you're like, I am in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
This is what makes us happy at the end of the day. Maybe we're not astronauts, but I feel like we are doing some change.
Yeah.
Not as good of a change as you guys are doing, but we're clearing the space
same
for you.
It's exactly the same. The feeling of accomplishment. And then when the customer is like, I love this.
Yeah.
Like I think that's why a lot of blue collar people do what they do, is the sense of accomplishment in the end of the day it's what it's all about.
It's a huge thing in our world. One of the biggest surprises when we started, I mean, obviously helping people was really impactful. All of those things that Kamola mentioned. But the other one that was really surprising for me that was a little bit harder to deal with is death. Death is a reason why we're at a lot of people's doorsteps, because either that family member has left a house full of things that they just can't deal with. The other one that's been hard is when you have somebody who's been widowed after 40, 50 years. And they don't know how to the husband or the wife, either one, but mostly the husbands that would pass. They're the ones that handled everything. I mean, they handled the accounting, they handled everything. And the spouse just doesn't even know where to begin. And I have had, grown older women just fall on me and cry because oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's powerful.
I just remember one. It was really hard. Anyway, yeah, man, she just fell on me and cried. She didn't know what to do. And I never, it actually was that was such an impactful thing for me that I was like, I need her to know where everything is at. Like if I'm not here, if I can't run this business, because something's happened to me, she needs to be able to do that. I can't believe I just got that emotional. That's really interesting. It's not my style.
It's not, but because I think every step has made you understand what you did for that woman.
Yeah.
And what has happened in your life kind of made you understand.
Yeah. Getting paid to haul away people's lives too is really interesting. I know that you guys have seen some of the things that we've found, and this is a very small portion of anything that we've truly found. One of the realizations that I've had when it comes to stuff is that you would be shocked at what siblings or kids after a parent has passed away, what they throw away. The things that we think are important to us as parents, by the way, for our children or even for our significant others, is not as important to them as we may think. We might love that deck of baseball cards that we've held on to since we were 9 years old, but to our daughters or our sons, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
In fact, when it comes down to it, and a guy like me shows up at the doorstep, we are really trained and very good at setting things aside to ask the siblings or even the homeowner, is this something that is personal to you that you want to hold on to? And the things that I've had people say no and just haul it off to the dump just blows my mind. It's not that it has a tremendous amount of intrinsic value to me, but I would think that would have a significant sentimental value to you. And so I've learned with my children specifically, and even with Kamola, like, I just don't want to hold on to anything. We find ourselves with a lot of things that we love, which are, bicycles, kayaks, and things like that we enjoy creating memories with. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, there's really not much as far as a value that we think is really important to our children.
Mm-hmm. Well, kind of opening this business kind of showed me how much waste is out there. And I'm like, oh my goodness, no, don't throw away this. Don't do this. Don't do that. This is where the donation came through, but also where I come from. I was born in Soviet Union, so nothing was available to us. Whatever was broken was fixed and reused. Nothing got thrown away. So that mentality followed me here as well. So when I saw all of this, I was like, no, don't. It's waste. What are you doing? Don't throw it away. And that made me hold on to a lot of things, but also seeing all of that made me to release it as well. Mm-hmm. So it taught me two things at the same time. So that I'm really proud of this, where we actually take everything, which takes time as well, and taking it and donating it to third world countries, also donating it to people who need it. We don't necessarily always take it to DI or to donation places. We know some people who needs it and we take it to them.
Wow.
And most of the time they're very happy about it as well. So that part of the business has meant a lot to me, personally to me.
It's very cool. Rewarding.
Yes.
It's kind of similar. Maybe you could speak a little of this. What you're describing is the Depression era.
Yes.
Right.
Me,
Depression,
yeah,
but a little after, right?
Yes.
So post-Soviet Union, you'd have a lot of if you have making this up, but Ziploc bags and they can be reused, you have to reuse them.
Totally. Which I actually do still, by the way. It breaks my heart that I can tell. I was like, okay, it's going to go into trash. It's going to take forever for it to dissolve and get back to the environment the way it's supposed to, which breaks my heart. So I try to be, that's why I had a lot of questions when I came here. It was very interesting to have a clean water in my system, in my body. That plastic would have dissolved in 10,000 years later, not into my body, but into my kids and kids and kids. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm like, let's be careful about what we throw away. the paint and all of those kind of things. But do you think you got that depression era in you as well?
No, well, we were just poor. So we grew up, my dad was a truck driver for 37 years and he raised 4 kids, and we grew up in Rose Park. There weren't a lot of people with money in that area or even at that time. And so I was used to thrift store clothing. I was a boy running around all the time and I was wearing through shoes, partially because they were Payless Shoe Source, because they're cheap shoes, but I was just wearing through them.
Yep.
And so, I learned in a lot of ways, no, my parents did not throw a lot away, but I was never we just didn't have the money to rebuy things, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really interesting with her family when they found out what it was that I did. They're like, that's a thing? That's a job? How do you create a business out of that? And it was very humbling because yes, that would never work there. I had the experience or the privilege to go to Uzbekistan and see what that was like in 2013. And it was very unique. It was great to meet her family and everything like that and just see how she was really raised. But I understood why that wouldn't work there. When I went to Spain, my sister lived in Spain. I went there and that doesn't work there either. They might have cleanup crews, but it's mostly government that does it. So if somebody has an old mattress actually to throw away, they just take it out to the curb and the trash company picks it up. Mm. But circling back around to the donation side, when COVID hit, we had to pivot pretty quickly when it came to the donation end because that was a big part of our business and always has been. And when businesses, like all of the donation centers, it was so unknown. Is there COVID sitting on these clothes? Is it sitting on this couch? And we would show up with a whole trailer full of great clothes, great blankets, people that need these things. And I remember the first time it hit, I was over at, I'll just say Goodwill because that's where it was at. But again, nobody knew what was going on. And they just grabbed this huge bin of blankets that we had pulled out of an estate sale. And they just took it over to their dumpster and threw it in there. And I was like beside myself. I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, oh, well, we don't know if there's COVID on this. And I'm like, man, there's 20 homeless people down the road that are freezing at night that I don't care what it is. They could use this. And we had to pivot really quickly. We started finding donation places that were a little bit more independent. One was Philippines, sending stuff out to the Philippines for children. Now they would accept toys and kids clothing. However, it couldn't be winter clothing. I didn't even think about that. It's hot there.
Why would you need it?
Why would I send a winter coat there?
No
right.
Yeah. So in Uzbekistan, we decided to put it together and start sending, because it's very cold in Uzbekistan, we started sending those clothes to Uzbekistan. And it was like, I can't tell you the joy of what
we received the videos.
We get the video of these kids opening these packages, and they're like beating on the box like a drum. They're so excited to open it.
They're circling it like a shark. And then we always added chocolates in there. We would get some chocolates, some sweets, because we knew kids would get it. And when you receive that video and the kids are circling, because they know this is not the first time they have received it, they know what it is. And they're like tapping it, waiting for their mom and dad to open this. And then they open it, they're like, oh, yeah, wow. It's like their joy on their faces literally made our day. And we would love to send even more than what we can right now. It just, when you give, it's not for them probably. You sending it for yourself, I think, most of the time.
100%.
People say, I'm helping you, but I'm helping myself at the same time. I'm getting joy. I am getting satisfaction from your satisfaction. So thank you.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
That's one of the big, imperative. We have a lot of charities and stuff on. You have to be striving for that. That is how you fill your cup.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be, it can be anything, but doing something for someone else is how you fill your own cup.
Yes, definitely. Not just one cup. several cups, I would say.
I did. I have to tell you this though. One time I sent a box of bamboozled jelly beans, and it's hit or miss on whether they taste good or not. They don't. And these kids, and they were handing them out, and you would just watch their face to see which one got.
They didn't get it.
Those Americans are into some really funky stuff.
And they swallowed it. They didn't spit it. You know how people over here just like, oh, what is it? They're just like, I guess that's edible. Okay.
I'm trying to be polite as well at the same time. That was kind of the funny part because they're just like, okay.
Yeah,
thanks.
Thank you, I think.
That's how they are over there. You know, they're so thankful. They don't say this is bad. I mean, they just go for it. Okay.
That's pretty incredible that you have so many different, junk removal.
Yeah.
You don't think about all the different things, and then some of the stuff that you've pulled out, like going down the nostalgia train. Like there is some really cool aspects of your business that you're working with. I think that's awesome that you're donating across the globe here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That makes us happy. That's a one thing out of the whole business besides helping people. That's what I actually strive to get. Please let us get more clients. Please make sure that it's donatable. And our crew's actually very good about this too. If it is donatable, a lot of people just go like, hey, why do I need to care? I might as well send it to trash.
But our
crew's like, you know what? I don't know, maybe because we are good to them, they're good to us. That's why they pay attention and they're so respectful. That's what I really love. When they go to somebody's house, a lot of homeowners already sit and shake because they're embarrassed of what it is. But that's not what we're going there. Not to judge you, not to make fun of you. We are there to help you. That's why you called us. And that's what I love about our crew. They go there, they say hi, they do their proper introduction, and go and finish the job. And whatever is reusable, if it's reusable, they take it. And never swear. That's a one thing around it's disrespectful in my opinion.
Yes.
And they go take the stuff and finish the job and respectfully say thank you and leave. That's what I really love about our team as well. Because if you don't do this, then they're not going to hire us again. We're not there to judge. We are there to help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing, you don't get disgusted. You cannot be disgusted by seeing what it is.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, that part was one of the hardest things. In fact, it took me probably 4 to 5 years to get, I kept asking the question, how do you live this way? You obviously don't say anything when you step into their home, but how I would never live this way. And I had to understand and start breaking down to, everybody thinks that the Lifetime show, hoarders is like something that is just normal for us to encounter. It's not. I've probably stepped into maybe 10 homes like that in 9 years.
Oh, wow.
And even in those types of situations, the reality is for a hoarder to call us, they don't want to do that. They see true value in the things in that receipt that's on the ground from 1995, a reuse for it, whatever it may be. And so I can count on one hand that true hoarders have called us because it's become a health issue and they need to let go. And I think that is a huge step.
Oh yeah.
So our guys are really trained to deal with those situations. Dementia is another really hard one, where you're in somebody's home with dementia and they remembered that you were there for a purpose 5 minutes ago, but when you're going to move the thing that they just told you to take out, they're like, what are you doing? And it's very emotional. It can be very, very disturbing for them. So we've been able to identify through the years and train through the years on how to deal with these situations, specifically with hoarding. It is very much, it's a disability.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody really thinks of it as that, but it is that. It's a mental disability. And there's something going on in their world that, whether it's childhood trauma, I think the show does well at like kind of with therapists and stuff like that. That's true. you have to have that disability in there in order to be able to accumulate these things and see value in them. There's just no value in them. And so our guys are really trained from the aspect of, we are as patient as we need to be while we're there. It's not free, but it's also like, our guys will never say, can you hurry up? Can you decide on what it is you want or don't want? How can you do that to somebody? You can never do that to somebody, especially if the trauma really is like a box full of things that is the memory of their childhood or their parents, whoever it may be. There's some sort of attachment there, and you have to be able to let that person, whether it takes 45 minutes for them to go through that box. Our guys are really trained to sit there and just tell me when you need us to move whatever it is you need to move. Sometimes we'll have people say, can you just move things out of that corner that was not accessible so that I can go through those things? So I think it's really important. A lot of the lessons that we've learned with waste and junk removal, our first job, I still have the check from it. It was for $65. And I had the truck, but I didn't have the trailer. So I rented the trailer just to even do this job. I rented a trailer for like $115 that day. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because we got to the house and she goes, I want this mattress. She had a mattress and then a king size mattress upstairs and a couple of those outdoor heaters that were just, messed up. And we're sitting there grabbing everything. I agreed on the price of $65. Believe me, the lead itself cost more than that too. But I was just like, well, let's see what it's like. And she looked at me square in the eyes and she goes, I bet you've seen some stuff, huh? And I was like, oh yeah. I truly had no idea what I was about to get into in the road and the path that we were going to go into. The barrier of entry is really easy when you think about it. It's a truck and a trailer, and that's how you get into the junk removal business. It's obviously not that way for us now. It's very much different because our trucks are different. Everything has, on a commercial level, the insurance that you have to carry is so much different. But as credit to our crew members being professional at the house, hiring the right people, having the right people there that can handle all of those situations, because you never know what you're going to walk into. I wish we get an idea on the phone, but I wish I could explain to you guys sometimes what it's like. I wish I could unsmell and unsee some things in my life or from the business itself, but I can't. I'm very desensitized when it comes to a lot of things now. But when she said that to me, I truly never knew what it was we were about to get into and the things that we do.
Well, I really want to know, what you're outlining, I would imagine are all aspects of the business that you learned along the way. When you sat down to do it, donating things across probably was not part of the original business plan. So I'm curious, you went from mortgage broker, if I'm following along.
We were doing, mortgage. Well, no, that was in Las Vegas when I lived there. But anyway, online
and then marketing. Online marketing.
Yeah.
How did you pick junk removal? What brought the business to be?
Okay, so that's a great question. So I was in New York. Sorry, do I need to adjust this?
No, you sound good.
I was in New York and we were there visiting my sister. And it's so funny because we helped her move from her home in White Plains. And we must have spent, I think we were there for 2 weeks.
Probably.
I think we were there for 2 weeks and they were getting ready to sell their house. And we are just, as a family, we are down there just grabbing things and putting yard sales and all these things, donation, and trying to get it all done. Cause it was a fairly big house and we filled
pushing
that
a
garage.
Christmas tree out of the window.
Okay. That was really funny. That was really funny because it was easier to throw it out the window into the yard than it was to walk it all the way through the house. But yeah, that was a whole experience. Right. And we're there and she called a company called Junk Luggers and they're pretty big back east. And they showed up with a truck and here I'm watching these guys pick all this stuff up and they're negotiating on price and everything like that. And he's like, well, yeah, it looks like a couple trucks. That'll be around $1,600 to $1,800. And they were in and out within 2 hours. I mean, and that was not even them. First of all, we had everything in the garage. They loaded one truck, they were gone, another truck, and they were gone, and then had to come back for a little, just slightly a little bit more. And I was like, holy crap, that they just did $1,800 in a matter. We did all the work. Like we put everything into the garage.
Yeah.
I wonder how easy it is for us to generate some leads in Salt Lake. And that's how we started. I had a truck and had a neighbor that was a landscaper that he let me rent his trailer. But like I said, on that first job, I actually just went and rented one from somebody else. I finally saw that as a promising business. I was like, hey, can I rent your trailer through the week and for like $50 a day? And it was like, yeah. And what's funny is when I didn't really pencil it out very good. I just knew that I could generate the people, the leads, and I knew that we could go and do the work. I had moved friends before, so I was like, how hard is it to move a couch out of a house? Well, sometimes it can be very problematic. We've been stuck before, and there's nothing worse than that.
I personally had to take the couch apart in order to fit it through a humongous hallway, stairs. I was like, are you sure you didn't do any remodeling afterwards? And nope, I'm positive. Obviously, something has happened. I never thought I would do that. When I first time did that, I'm like, I never thought I would do it. Like, seriously, pulling everything apart of the couch just so it could fit that.
Wow.
There's
so how many times on a job site is pivot being thrown around?
Many. And it's so unique. I read a book when I was in the mortgage world, and it was called Leading by the Heart. And it was by Coach K. And one of the greatest lessons that I learned from that, yes, it was about managing people, but he would have a game plan going into whatever situation, whatever game they were going into, and whether it was man-to-man coverage that they were deciding to play that day. And as the game goes along, you realize man-to-man's not working, so you need to go to zone, and learning how to pivot that way as you're managing people. I never thought I would have to apply that so much on a job site, because there are so many different situations. I really have through the years called this more of the Swiss Army knife of jobs that we do, because I was just taking everything, any job I could get, all the way from hanging pictures in Park City at somebody's home with a laser guided whatever picture level, laser guided level. And that was really fun, but that was a day's work. Then the next day we're down and clearing out an estate sale home. So, there's just or cutting up a hot tub. Holy crap. Hot tubs were, I'll tell you about hot tubs. The first one took us 6 hours to do.
Whoa.
And it was because we didn't know to ask them to drain it. We didn't know where the power was. I cut through the power and knocked the power out to the middle of summer, knocked it out of their air conditioner, knocked it out of their house.
Oh, geez.
And I was like, holy crap, what did I do? And thankfully the AC and the power box were one for that hot tub. So it just tripped the breaker and we had to track it down and turn it back on. But it took us 6 hours to do that. And that's just not efficient. The very next hot tub we did in 1 hour and 10 minutes. Then the following one was 45 minutes. And we just got better and better and better at learning how to do it. And we've also had to learn, like using a hot tub is a really good example. They're extremely heavy without the water. And generally when they're broken and we're dealing with them, it's because there's a pump issue or there's a leak somewhere in it. So it soaks all of that foam insulation inside and makes it still extremely heavy.
Yeah.
And so we decided one day that we were always trying to take them in whole hot tub. But one almost fell on one of my guys. And I didn't realize how heavy it was until we got it to the landfill. It was 1,400 pounds.
Oof.
That would have crushed him and killed him, had that truly happened. So we decided we have protocols in everything that we do. And that is, we cut up a hot tub into 4 pieces, make it manageable, get it done. We know exactly what it takes to do that. We know now to track down the power. We tell the customer, You got to have the power disconnected and the hot tub drained, and there's just that learning process. It takes you 2 or 3 to figure those questions out. Pianos are no different. Anything really heavy, or how much stuff do you have? We charge based on what we have to fill in our truck. So if we get there, and this is my favorite, not to knock any of our clients because I love all of them, but somebody's idea of a pickup truck full of material versus reality of what it is, because she'll take the call and say, oh, she'll put in the notes, oh, it's just a pickup truck. So it's like our minimum. And we get there and I'll be like, I don't know what kind of pickup truck you guys are thinking of. Beverly Hillbillies, maybe, like where it's got the walls all the way up on the sides, but there's always pivoting in that world, because you're constantly, you need to let the client know, look, based on what you told us over the phone, yes, this is what we thought it was. And it's a little bit more than that. Or some of my favorites are, it's a little bit less. It's less than what you anticipated. And look, I'm only here to haul away what you're asking us to haul away. So wherever we give you a bid, we give kind of a soft bid and say, between this and this is where we're thinking. To be on the lower end is great. I love being able to tell people. And I think that's where the honesty part and the integrity part, everybody says that, it's easy to say, oh, you know what? You filled up. You're where I quoted you on the high end. It's easy to do that. But I really want these clients coming back. And we do have a lot of regular clients that come back to us too. And I think that a few of our accounts, the only reason that they've stayed with us, because I'm sure competitors have hit them up a number of times, but it's because we back it up every time. Like, we don't lie to you with what we're taking away. We've had them ask for photos before and they're like, no, it couldn't have been that much. Well, here you go. This is what it was. Or, okay, yeah, this needs to go to the client, and this needs, however we need to break it apart. So we just do things in such a good system now, and it's just automatic for us versus those first couple of years where we were just like, I don't even know what to charge. I charge you $65. I'm in the hole already.
I'm in the whole $200 just to be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
The experience definitely put us on top of our job, I think, right? Qualification wise, because, when you see you're applying for a job, they say experience, 6 years, this many years. I never understood it. It's like, you're just coming out of the college. How are you going to get the experience? But this is the experience, what makes us do our job properly, because we have gone through the trial and error and we perfected it.
Yeah.
This is why we do what we do correctly, and we're proud of it.
That's awesome.
And we don't want to put paint in
Garbage. Well,
garbage
in the
landfill, so we don't end up with lead, chromium 6, and who knows what else.
Yep.
Trickling down to the water table, and then they got to call us in 50 years to come and fix that.
Exactly. There's enough of it before us that has been put in that needs to be cleared.
I agree with that. So let me ask you this. How long have you guys been with Blue Collar, and how has that kind of added another level to your game?
Well, for me, so the way that we started with Blue Collar was I was already networking for the last 2 years. I've been on a networking journey. And Darren with Denny's Auto, he is also a great friend, and we were in B&I together. And so to even get started with Blue Collar in the first place was kind of I had a marketing director at the time, and I said, hey, just go check this out. And she came back and she goes, if you don't join Blue Collar, you're an idiot. So I said, okay, let's join it. But you're going to take that role, right? And she went for, I would say, a month, maybe 2.
Probably a month, I think.
Yeah, a month or 2. And things didn't work out with us, and she went another way. But I also realized, once I had started going to a few of the meetings, it's really directed towards the owners anyway.
Right.
So as far as how it's worked out for me, number one, I've increased my business an incredible amount. the reason that it's worked out so well for me is because, yes, we have perfected junk removal. And I really do believe that we're some of the best out there. However, just because I had perfected junk removal, I didn't realize how much help or need there was to running a business. And the running the business part has been the biggest thing. The first 3 months I was in there, people would ask me, why did you join? And everybody would have different answers. I joined for the referrals. I joined to work with all these other business owners. That was not my answer. My answer was, I'm here to learn. And once I really started learning who Joe was and what he was about, holy crap, do you know how blessed? And I mean, it is an honor for me to even, I feel like, be around him because I gain something from every encounter.
Yeah.
I just get something. And there are hard choices that I've had to make since being in blue collar. Nobody wants to make some of those choices. But I've had to, and now the dividends are paying off. We're extremely busy right now. We're opening a whole nother side of the business that is going to take, I know, another year of perfection too. That takes time, but at least I have an understanding of what I need to do, and I know how to measure it now. Like I would measure things by the end of the month. Oh, we're positive, we're plus. I was not. We had a whole accounting team, and they would handle our taxes and accounting, and I'd get a quarterly from them, and they would be like, "Hey, it looks good. Everything looks good," and I'd be like, "Does it?" Because it doesn't feel good. Like, you're telling me that all these things are great, but they're not. Because I can see it in the account. They're not growing like it should be. Yes, we expanded like crazy the first 4 or 5 years. And it was just go. But I could not figure out, we were at a plateau at that time. And that plateau was, I couldn't add enough work into to keep trucks going all year round. And I don't understand that. I could not figure that out because we're the greatest service there is, and there's plenty of junk out in this world. Why is it that when December 15th comes around every year, we're just done? I mean, we might as well shut the doors for a while. We've tried snow removal. We tried all these different things through the winter. So anyway, the reason that I'm telling you all these things is because I've learned how to become consistent in the work that we offer and the jobs that we offer. And I've learned how to do that with little to no spend, where I know that I've filled Google's pockets plenty through the years. And it's nice to know that I'm able to get some of that back. And it's all about strategy, and it's all about growth, and it's all about working with the right people. So if I were ever to, recommend blue collar to anybody, believe me, I'm there. I'm a 1,000,000% believer. It's affected our business on the positive end by far. Her idea of blue collar might be a little bit different, but yeah, tell them how.
Give us your side.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It took me a little bit to understand what it is. And still, I believe into some things the way I believe in. I would like to keep it to myself. But what I saw, Joe was creating, and I'm like, man, that's genius. From the standpoint, like when he says, you don't need Google, you don't need to pay anybody, you don't need to pay Facebook. From that standpoint, what he's creating, it feels like, have you watched 2012, the movie?
I don't think I have.
2012.
I don't think I have.
In the movie, what they're doing is like, they're not telling anybody, and they're building a ship because they know the whole earth is going to collapse. They need to be able to survive. That's what I feel like about Joe's, what he's creating. He's creating a ship right now. So if you are able to see what he's creating and you can jump on that ship right now, you are golden.
Oh, that's awesome.
If you don't jump up on it, you are screwed.
That's a great analogy. Awesome.
Yeah,
well
absolutely.
said.
There is some truth to that, because that's how I feel. Like, honest to goodness, I feel like we got blessed. We were number 49, 48, 49 of the first 50 that came in. And it's like, thank God.
Yes.
Honestly, we made it right at the deadline. It was awesome.
Yeah. Just that part where you like connected to so many people, and you can just give business left and right, and you if in it, the people gonna, so if you in that ship and everybody else is seeing it, they're like, here, take mine, take me. And not because of this person, that person referred you to this, and this person's referring to the whole circle from that standpoint. And then the client sees it as like, yeah, I want to pick the people from blue collar because I trust them. Yeah. That's what I saw in the after. It took me 2 months maybe or so to understand it. But once I saw what he was creating, I'm like, that is genius, actually.
The law of reciprocity is like bananas to me. The concept's not new, but to see it at this level, I'm just like, wow. You just have to sit back and count the blessings, honestly. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right now, I feel like we are within the circle doing the business. So many people have not seen it. Once they see it, they're like, I do want to pick up from that bucket. And then if everybody else does that, OMG, you would be pretty lucky to be in that pile.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Is it been that good for you guys too? Or you?
Well, I mean, we've only been in for, it feels like we've been in for 2 years.
I agree.
We're a month and a half.
Yeah. A month and a week.
Man, I feel like I've known you guys for like seriously 2 years or more even.
It's wild. Well, the biggest thing for us is, some of that's the knowledge, right?
Yes.
Oh, the education. The education's massive.
And it seems like very obvious what he says, but then not everybody wants to pick up on it. But then when somebody else, like, it takes the right person to tell you. Like, when you tell your kids, you need to do this, and they're like, no. And they go and see somebody else, and somebody else says it, like their idol, and they're like, right there, they do it. And I feel like that's what Joe is. Everybody might be around you telling you, your wife, your partner, somebody else, but it takes one person to tell you. This feels a little bit
personal, doesn't it?
This is the experience.
Maybe.
This is the exact experience. She was very reserved. The amount that we put in to get in was, for us at that time, we're getting through winter. And so you have to be very careful with how you spend, or at least that's how we were. And so she wanted to see instant results from that spending. And when she was like, this is obvious. I don't mean to throw you under the bus at all.
Go for it.
But she was like, this is obvious what Joe's telling you. And I was like, well, riddle me this. Why haven't I done it? Like, he's telling me this stuff. If it's so obvious, why have I not done this? And maybe it is obvious in a lot of ways, but it does take somebody like Joe to say, look, I have spent a ton of money learning this stuff. And I've spent a lot learning what not to do and how it doesn't work.
I mean, we have taken classes.
We have. Yeah. We took a whole... she and I, we wanted to grow the business. This was about 4 years ago. And so we took a course. We hired a company to tell us. I thought that there was this missing ingredient. I really did. Cause I was like, I cannot get past here. Why? And we worked with a guy that was in the junk removal business. He had grown his franchise to 25 million a year. And those are like astounding numbers in my world. And I was like, how did you do this? I want to learn from you and I want to know how to do this. And so we spent quite a bit just to even go there and spend a couple days learning how they were doing it. And honestly, this is the funniest thing. When I left, I was literally like,
I didn't learn anything.
We do all this stuff. Like there's nothing different. The only thing different that I truly learned was a laminated card that like said, do this with your team, like that was it. And so that was all based on junk removal though. That was, I got nothing out of how are you running your business?
Right.
How are you networking? How are you spending your advertising dollars? Like, because Joe asked me that. I have come to the mini masterminds. I mean, religiously I've been there and I'm like, this is my problem. How do I fix this? And there's been two that have been really quite altering for us. One is we would put down on a job in the description what it is that needed to be done. And then I would show up and go check on that job. And it's literally nothing like in my mind what I'm expecting to walk into. And I realized, and when I posed that question to him and he says, make it a checklist. And I was like, what?
Why haven't I thought about it?
Yeah. Why? Number one, a checklist, that's just too easy to change. No, just make it a checklist. It's how I do it with all my companies, you know? And I was like, okay, we'll do that. And it's like, remove the bed, remove the door, remove the carpet. And that checklist
Oh my gosh.
is like, if you screw that up, we got major problems on a Friday night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's really changed the whole outlook of even how the team interacts with us. It's easier for them to run through a job and know what they have to do. The other one is 131. This one's been a big change for us too, because we'd get calls from our guys all the time. Like, oh, how do we, this is the problem.
And it
Fix
seems
it.
obvious to us.
Yeah. Fix the problem. I'm like, man, you've been with me for 5 years. I have been with you on a truck for 2 or 3 of those years. You know how I operate. And I still would get the same question over and over. And once we started like implementing the 131, which is 1 is the problem, call us with 3 solutions. And then let's figure out the 1 solution out of those 3. That one really changed a lot because it put a little bit of responsibility onto that employee instead of like calling me or her every 5 minutes. Oh, here's the problem. It's like, it's not the end of the world. Number 1. Number 2, think through that problem just a little bit. And then let's come up with a solution. And those simple, obvious things that, I guess anybody could say, oh, I could have thought of that, or I could have done that. Really, why didn't I think about that? Because I've been running it this way for 9 years. And just those 2 little things I picked up from one mini mastermind, and I've implemented into my world. And now it's changing how we operate as a business. I haven't even gotten to the SOPs and all of the other things that in order to grow unilaterally with all of our trucks, because every truck has to function the same exact way. And we've operated at those levels. However, there's still things that, because it's not down on paper, or because those standard operating procedures they're just taught, they're not read.
Right.
Those types of things where now we go, okay, the next truck that's up and moving, here's the process. Here's what you do to go through checking out that truck. Here's how you go through your day. And we've had to learn that. And I guess learn it the hard way after 9 years, taking a month in blue collar or 2 months in blue collar. We've been there for 6 now, but just changes blue collar has changed my world a lot to where I look at my business and go, it's going to be a badass business. I've always thought and like looked at, we're going to grow 20 trucks in this market. And we've always pushed the money and tried to get there. And then you hit that roadblock and you're like, man, how did I not do it this year? Now I like have such a clear path on, and it's with guys like you. It's with the help of you guys, my friends. Seriously, like all of us joining together, shouting everybody out, like figuring out how to help each other. I never wanted to talk to another junk company. In fact, the only reason why I wanted to talk to another junk company is if I was beating their bid. And sometimes I would just beat their bid I knew I was losing money, but I was like, I don't want them to do it. I mean, that's like kind of, what's the way to put that? Like not narcissistic, but anyway, it's just mean. And I realized that we all have goals that we want to hit. And there's plenty of work in this valley. You just need to be with the right people that give you the right work and have the right customers. And I've told her not to get too far off the blue collar thing, but like when we first started, I remember days where I'd do 13, 14 jobs in one day, dump our trailer 4 or 5 times a day. And it's just me and another guy doing that work. It was taxing on my body. I've had shoulder surgery since then. I've realized I'm older. I'm probably 30 pounds heavier. There's so many things, but that was so much work to get to the end of the month and go, holy crap, I've worked almost every day of this entire month. And this is what I have to show for it. It's sure we live a great life. Don't get me wrong. We've paid all our bills, but it should be this. It should be this that we're taking home. And she was like, why are we not as busy as we used to be? And I was like, man, I don't want to be that way anymore. We have narrowed down and we've targeted the people that we want to work with. The job, I don't want the $100 couch. No offense, we'll do it, but there's no money in that. And we want to service customers, absolutely 100%. And we're happy to do it. But that type of client and that type of job, it just doesn't keep everything going.
Yeah.
And
you don't want to explain to every customer why it costs more than $100 to go and pick that couch up. You have 2 employees. You want to pay them properly so they can have a good life, so they can respect you when you go into their home and don't disrespect you. Not only the owners, but the house itself. Like you can go in and dent every wall out there while you're picking that couch out.
Yep.
So by the time you explain that customer why it costs as much as it does, you might as well not to service them, because it's like, I just cannot afford it.
Yep.
Nothing against you. You need to be able to afford us. We need to be able to afford our employees in order to do a proper job.
It's kind of cool on that same concept right there. The Blue Collar Masterminds meetings, I've seen a lot of confidence coming from that. Like, no, this is your job. This is a job that makes sense. And it's okay to say, no, this isn't what we do.
yeah,
And having a coach like Joe hammering that into us is immensely valuable.
Yep. Figuring out your ideal client and your ideal referral partner has been like one of those things, like, why didn't I think of that? What the heck?
I feel like we've been in this business for a long time, but it's like going into your garage every single day and seeing what you have. And basically, it's right in front of you, the answers, but you don't see it because you see it every single time and you don't see what you need. And when you join the Blue Collar, Joe is like, hey, it's right there. The answer is right there. Didn't you see it? It was right there.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean?
it's been there the whole time.
No,
It's been there the whole time.
It's a very mixed emotion too, because one, he makes it so simple that it's like, well, duh.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And also, why didn't I see that? It's so simple. Why didn't I capture that?
And I think people get, when you think about running your own business and you get into the mindset of it needs to be complicated to grow and it has to be this big deal. Everything has to be perfect. And if you just keep it simple, most of the time it works out way better.
Or like he says, don't overthink it. Don't think, what if? Just break it and then fix it.
Yeah.
I think that's genius.
No, it's really good stuff. All right, guys. Kind of a wrap down question here. Believe it or not, we're almost at the end of our time here.
I can't believe it.
I just am curious, kind of for a final question here. What's the coolest thing that you've ever picked up? Because you do that little segment on social media. What is it? Is it
What did we find today?
What did we find today? Yeah. What's the coolest thing you've ever picked up?
For me, I get this question a lot, and it's a mixed bag because there's so many things. But probably the coolest thing that we have been paid to pick up and found was about 3,000 die-cast cars. So little unfortunate story. Man died, but he was a hoarder of like Matchbox cars. And the wife held on to all of the valuable Matchbox cars and she did something with those and sold them. But he had it hidden up into the top part of a garage. So we had to send guys up this little tiny ladder to get up there and just bag after bag of cars. And I could not, I don't know how I can put this because I emailed a number of businesses afterwards after we had them. And I was like, hey, let's do a sub for Santa. I think this would be one of the coolest things ever to give this
brand new.
They were still in the boxes.
Wow.
And I'll show you guys some pictures one of these days because I just had them in my garage and they were just, everywhere. And it was all the Pixar, the whole set. But that was the coolest thing that I think that I've found because it stands out the most. But believe me, there's so many others. I don't know what's yours.
I'm trying to think. I'm just astonished that people throw away so much stuff. Like starting from that episode that we came for you guys. It's just a filter, brand new filter, hasn't been even opened.
Oh, yeah.
Everything astonishes me nowadays. It's like, but definitely the cars. Like we still have one or two, my kids, because he gave it to our kids. It's a school bus. The doors open, wheels work really. It was made long time ago. You can see the quality there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a one red maroon colored pickup Ford. It's so pretty. It is really pretty. And it's like, it had value for him, but not to his wife. And that was one of the cool ones.
Huh.
Yeah. My kids, they were like, they thought that was just a toy chest, that they had hit a gold mine. And I'm like, no, you're not. I'll let you have one each. And they did, but
we're not keeping 3,000.
Not keeping 3,000. And that's just as a wind down question, that's one of the things that like you have to realize in this business, because at one point I had 8 units filled with other people's things, and you can think that you can sell them. You think that you can make money on them, and you can. We tried it every which way.
Because whatever's sold, it's going to go again back to the donation center where we send it to third world countries.
Yeah. And it was, at the end of the day, like you can become your business and do those things, and you can't, you'll have too much stuff. And so we've been really.
One thing, a cool thing that we got was a John Deere
tractor.
What?
That was the cool one. One of the cool ones.
That one was cool. We let our girls drive it around and everything.
Wow.
I mean, I've had cars. If we have time, I'll just tell you this quick story. So I had a guy call me and he's like, "Hey, I've got this Subaru. I don't want it anymore. How much would you pay, or what would you pay? What do I need to pay you to come pick it up?" And I was like, I don't know. Cars are really hard to deal with, especially, you have titles, you have dismantling permits. There's a ton to deal with. So I just said, couple $100. I'll get the dismantling permit and it'll take some time and we'll make it out of scrap. And we get there and, I literally was like, he'd paid me and gave me the title, signed off and took off. And I got into the car and I noticed that the lights were on, but it was dead. And so I flipped the switch back and I said, "Let's try to jump this thing." And sure enough, the lights were just left on, fired right up. It was a great little car.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Was it a Jeep by any chance?
No, it was. Oh, the Jeep was another one, huh? There's so many. I mean, it's kind of cool that we found even that many cars. And the John Deere tractor was really fun. E-bikes.
Almost brand new.
Yeah. Wow. And the only reason we got that was because the battery was dead and they thought they put some kind of stuff into the fuel tank, even though that wasn't. I charged it and fired right up.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Daggum. Well, that's really cool. Well, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for coming on. It was wonderful learning about you and the business and everything. Jared, you got any closing thoughts here?
Yeah, I appreciate hearing your story of how you guys just have such a great connection, and I hope to have that with my business partners and my wife as well. So I appreciate that example, and it was great to get to know you guys.
Yeah, thanks for
having us. I can't believe time has passed because it was very interesting sitting and chatting with you.
Yeah,
awesome. Well, everybody out there, you know the drill. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one.